Hey everybody. So I wanted to find some beautiful trees, and there are beautiful trees all over the place. Welcome to the midweek chat, by the way. It's October 6th. Happy anniversary to my good pals in Milwaukee, Yvonne and Mark. I don't think they watch this typically, but it's their anniversary today, and they are great support in my life. So yeah, there's these great trees all over the place, but it's hard to find a place where you can put a camera. Like there's trees in the neighborhood, but then where do you put the camera? You know. So this is Lakeview Cemetery. It's really near Cameron Street. It's just right out there. So it's a little short bike ride from St. James, and I see on the monitor it looks like the colors fade a little bit when the sun comes out, which is too bad because these are really bright orange trees. Maybe it's better than I can see on my monitor. I hope so. Anyway, you get the idea. It's fall. It's beautiful, and yeah. So Mark and Yvonne, they married on October 6th, 1991 or 90, something like that, at Jesu Church on Wisconsin Avenue in Milwaukee. I don't know if you've ever been there. It's a beautiful church. It's a Jesuit parish. It's right at Marquette University campus, and so Jesuit priests run Marquette. The Jesuit order runs Marquette University, and that was the place. Then the reception that night, when I was going to that wedding, I was like, I'll get the person just like I started these stories. I got to finish. I was standing up. I was in the groomsmen's line, and I couldn't find my bow tie anywhere. It's downtown Milwaukee. It's a little bit, maybe, what is it, 15 blocks from the heart of downtown Milwaukee, down Wisconsin Avenue, and 10 maybe, I don't know. But I was panicky. I was like, I don't want to be the only groomsman without a bow tie. And so I'm running all over the place, just going down Wisconsin Avenue, heading downtown, looking for a menswear shop. And by golly, I found one. And I could buy a bow tie for $5. And I never did find that other one. I thought it'd be in the bottom of the garment bag or something. It was a rented tuxedo. But when I look back on it, how lucky that I had find a place that would sell me a bow tie for $5 so I could wear it for my friend's wedding. Yeah. That was also the place. Then they had the Ramada Inn reception, and that was the place. I tell this story sometimes in a homily when I want to talk about God being our strength, when I relied on the strength of God to help me dance, because nobody was dancing, and I hate to dance myself. But I thought, I wanted to make it a joyful wedding. So God help me dance through me. And the one thing I learned there was that God isn't a very good dancer either. He danced through me, but But it was good. It was joyful. I had a joy to the day. So that was a happy, courageous moment for me that I think helped the celebration. Anyway, that was October 6th, some years ago, almost 30 years ago, more than 30 years ago. Hey, so let's do some parish news. Last week I put off the parish news till after I rambled on and on about something or another. But so our charitable outreach for St. James the next 3 months, we have something each month. So in October, we're collecting coats, so winter coats. You can drop those at the office or at the entrances of the church. November will be food. We'll be collecting food for the food pantry. And December, we'll be collecting winter accessories. So hats, mittens, so not the coats so much, but hats, mittens, gloves, scarves, I suppose. Okay. Right now it's winter coats. Hey, we had a great night last night on our campus. We had a national evangelization team. So it's a team of young adults who go around and give retreats for youth. And the youth they gave a retreat for at St. James were our middle school youth. And it had to be on a Tuesday this year, which isn't a sacred church night. So some youth had sports games and stuff like that. But out of a potential 40, and besides sports conflicts, there was, COVID. Some youth in quarantine or some with COVID. But still, we got 25 out of 45 to come and have the retreat. And it's good to sometimes have a smaller number. I feel bad for the 20 who weren't able to come. But, the youth were great. The men stayed at the old rectory, the parish office upstairs, and then the women stayed at Kelly's house. So that was gracious of her to open her house to everybody. But they couldn't be a nicer group of young adults. So when they were leaving and said goodbye to the students, one of the students came up and said, I didn't want to leave without saying goodbye and giving you a hug, So they must have done whatever they did. They bonded with them. I guess one of the things they did, I didn't hear the presentations, but Beth told me that one of the themes was that they just seemed very real to these students. They were people of faith. They talked about Jesus and God a lot, but they also talked about how they make mistakes in their lives and they need the mercy of God, and God helps them to be better. That kind of thing. So they were very, very real that they make mistakes. I'll get back to that theme in just a little bit. Trunk or treat. What's trunk or treat? That's our trick or treat. So the day before Halloween, from 4 p.m. to 6 p.m. on the grounds at St. James, that big yard we have behind the church. We're looking, actually, I thought in the bulletin this week I wrote that we're just looking for candy donations. We're actually looking for people that want to open their trunks and serve candy as well. So typically what happened last year or 2 years ago, I think it was last year, people who like costumes and things, they'd dress up a little bit and maybe decorate their car a little bit and then open their trunk, and then they would distribute candy to moms and youth who came by and went trick-or-treating. So that's kind of neat. That's October 30th, so a little ways away, but we are looking for people that would be willing to be giving treats away from their trunk of their car, and also some candy. So, all right. I watched Father Lindner's chat, a lot of it yesterday, and he just always admire, he really is good over there about reaching out. So in Wausau, there was some outreach about the Afghan refugees, and he said a Methodist pastor in his town called and said, hey, would you guys be willing to take any refugee families and sponsor them, find a place for them to live, and just basically sponsor them? And he said yes. So he had someone on from the refugee service, the coordination, and interviewed her a little bit. But that was really good. I've not been approached about that myself. In Eau Claire, I don't know that that's happening. But it was really, I don't know, it's just kind of nice to see kind of a little Christianity in action. And so kudos to my boyhood parish, St. Anne's, for doing that. I don't know if they're still doing the outdoor mass. We had this contest last year, who would go the latest into the season with the outdoor mass. I think they might have stopped it because they have a Sunday night mass, and it gets to be a lot of masses. But we're having outdoor mass this Sunday at noon. Outdoor mass Sunday at noon. So we were having them after the 4:30 mass, but guess what? The days are too short. The sun's going down too quick now, and so we can't pull off a 6 o'clock mass anymore. We barely did it last time. We were handing out communion with flashlights. No, we weren't, but we would be this time if we did it. So we're having it at noon on Sunday, okay? I was busy this week ordering stuff from Bethlehem, the Bethlehem, where Jesus was born. So last year we did it. If you were tuned into things last year. So just coming, I'll talk about more as it gets closer. But basically, when I was on sabbatical 2 years ago, I met a gift shop owner there. It was just a wonderful guy, a very peacemaking man in Bethlehem. And then more of my life was given to this other place called the L'Arche, where people with cognitive disabilities would gather, and they would make crafts that they would sell to tourists, and that's how they sustain themselves. Well, there's just no tourists anymore because of COVID and stuff. I'm still hoping I can get a group over there in February, but that's pretty dicey. But anyway, so they couldn't have been more happy, that we placed some pretty big orders from both of them. So we'll have things for you to look at and perhaps buy as perhaps Christmas gifts or other just for yourself. Pretty good stuff. So anyway, I got those orders out. We'll be getting these big packages from Bethlehem in the coming weeks. That's good. I just want to talk about, I mentioned that, talk about a friend of mine who died maybe 6 years ago now. I think of him this week because his birthday is October 10th. He was ordained a priest in 1958, I think. So I'm not sure how old he would be now. I don't want to waste your time while I'm doing math, but he's roughly my mom's age. My mom is 91. And I mentioned that the net team gave a retreat and talked about how they themselves have a weakness and sometimes make mistakes in their lives and how they rely on God. Anyway, so this guy is Bob Farragon, okay? So he was a Chicago priest, and he's a good friend of mine. I met him when I was just starting in seminary. He was on the board that interviewed me to kind of give me the thumbs up or the thumbs down as far as whether I could get into that seminary. And we just connected on a very human level right away. He talked about, what have been struggles in your life, and I mentioned when I was a boy and there was that bad car accident and my sister died and my brother was all banged up, and I forget exactly what I said, but he was kind of impressed that I just kind of talked about it, and I said it was really hard for my family. I was just kind of sharing the pain, I guess. And that's the way Bob was. He just thinks that life is, I don't know, there's a lot of loss and struggle in life. He was a big fan of the author Nikos Kazantzakis, and he'd often say that God is in the struggle of our lives. And at the same time, he was one of the funniest guys ever. I remember he gave a homily when it was on Our Lady of Sorrows, September 15th. And he said, I was driving over here. We were in they called our seminary the Enchanted Forest. It was kind of in the woods. And he was driving over from the retreat house. He said, I was driving over here and there was a squirrel in the middle of the road. And I didn't want to hit it, so I slowed down and the squirrel kind of looked at me, and then he looked right and he looked left and he looked right and he looked left. And then he finally, he goes, I don't think I hit it, but I might. Anyway, it was just kind of off the cuff. He had us all just sort of in stitches because he says, I'm that squirrel. That's me in my daily life. I don't know, should I do this? Should I do that? And I could relate to that squirrel. So we all got a kind of a kick out of that. But anyway, he was a friend of mine in seminary. We'd occasionally go to a movie. When I was a deacon, I deaconed where he was the pastor. And then over the years, we would just get together. I'd go down to Chicago. I'd stay at his place. And he was a good mentor for me. And, a lot of the stuff that eats up our energy here, like, church politics or politics in general, or things that are, he just didn't really, he had his opinions on all that stuff, but it never really stressed him out. And he always seemed to look beneath that, kind of to the heart of things. And he was more concerned about, people's struggles to keep going through their different struggles that they have and where they found strength and how people find love. And he was a great, he's just always very open. He was kind of so eccentric in his own way that I just always felt I could be myself around him, and that is, I don't know if you have any friends or you feel you don't have to put on an air, you don't have to espouse a certain opinion in order to be accepted, but you can just be who you are and quirky and think whatever you want, and that's okay. And you can have a conversation and you're accepted and it's warm. And that's who Bob was for me in those important years. And then we, I kind of figured we just drift apart. But one time he just asked me if I was doing anything. I think maybe I shared this. And I said, I'm going up to Lake Superior. And I just said, want to come? Just as a throwaway offer. And he did. And so for the next 9 years, we went up to the North Shore together and spent some time. Well, the funniest thing about Bob was he came over in winter when I was living at the Ecumenical Religion Center in Eau Claire, and he wanted to go on to visit friends in St. Paul, Minnesota in the night, but it was winter storm watch, and he was watching the Weather Channel constantly. He didn't want to go out and have coffee. He goes, I got to watch the Weather Channel. I want to see if it's going to be okay for me to go to St. Paul. And he was just kind of glued to it for 3 hours, and the news was not good. The radar was coming, the big red cells, the snow, or the dark blue, I forget what it is in winter. And the news just kept getting worse and worse. Don't go, don't go. And then, about a half hour before he wanted to go, or just minutes, that red banner came on the bottom of the screen. Doot, doot, doot. Winter weather warning, visibility low on the highways. At all costs, stay inside. Do not go out if you don't absolutely have to. Only for emergencies, go out. So I'm like, well, good, we can have dinner today. But he watched that, doot, doot, don't go out. And he kind of tapped his legs and he goes, I think I'm going to try it. And I said, Bob, why do you even watch? You got the worst possible forecast for going out, and you're going to go. Why do you even bother watching it? You know, I mean, what could they have possibly said that would have dissuaded you from going? Anyway, so he left, and he came back in 10 minutes. Said, I can't see anything out there. So that's what it said on the news. But anyway, that's just kind of the kind of guy he was. Then later in life, and this is more serious, he came up when he had Parkinson's disease, and he came up where I was living in Menominee, and the staff there really embraced him, and everybody loved Bob because he had that sense, like he was deep and good, but he's very loving and accepting of wherever people are at. Good sense of humor, and. But he was having problems as he went on with the Parkinson's, and he had continence problems, and so the bed would be wet in the morning, and he didn't walk. He wasn't very mobile, and so each morning I'd get up and I'd change the sheets. I'd take him. There's just a laundromat a block away, which was nice. I could take a big set of sheets like that and the comforter, and then I tried to put some plastic on so kind of really gritty stuff, that I wasn't really used to doing. And so he stayed with us like 3-4 days. He was going to stay longer, but I called his friends and I said, it's just kind of tough. And I think maybe he's in rougher shape than we thought. So they came and I took him to Toma. We met and we handed him off. But he was always just so, open, I guess. So, I mean, and he was mentally, he was kind of not always that clearly thinking, but I remember he'd be sitting on the edge of the bed, and the bedroom floor there was wood. And he was kind of sitting there, and he just kind of looked at the puddle of urine on the floor. And he said, Tom, I see that there's a puddle on the floor, and I think it's because of me. And I'm embarrassed, and I'm sorry. And I said, Bob, it's nothing. Whatever I said, you can't help it. It's fine. Let's just get you clean. I'll get you to the shower. And I don't know. I saw he just kind of spoke his heart. And when he didn't really know what to say, he would just describe reality. I remember he used to speak of the poor. We'd take our service trips down there, and we'd stay overnight on the very wealthy area of Chicago, the North Shore. Winnetka was his city, just north of Wilmette, and I can't remember the one just south, but a lot of big mansions. Anyway, a lot of wealth there. But we'd stay there the first night, then we go down to the south side and serve where there's a lot of poverty. But he would say that he used to work with people that were very poor, and one of the things he admired about them are that he said they have to deal with reality. They can't afford, if there's something going on in the family or something, they can't afford just to fly to Veracruz or something like that and take a vacation. They're kind of stuck where they are, and they have to deal with it. And it's not to put down people of means who can fly to Veracruz and things, but that's just to speak your heart to what's really going on and address it in simple ways. There's a puddle there. I feel it's my fault. I made that puddle. I'm embarrassed. I'm sorry. So we walked from the bedroom there to the bathroom. I had to try to get him to the bathroom and into the shower. I didn't have a walk-in shower. I had to walk in. So there's this guy I respected and admired all my life, and still did, even in that moment, of course. But you just see him reduced, so there he is. He's undressing for his shower, so he's kind of naked, slumped over from his Parkinson's, leaning on me so he can get into the shower. And that's reality. That's the way it was. And I said to him, it's one of my moments of grace, I think. I thought of something good to say. I said, Bob, you know what? I'm sorry for you that you're suffering this way. But as far as our friendship goes, I think we're bonding on a whole new level here. As he was, naked around my arms trying to get into the shower. So I think he saw a little humor in that. But anyway, so it's his birthday on October 10th, right? So that's my friend Bob. Bob, you're in heaven now. I hope I it didn't embarrass you or anything. I don't think you get embarrassed when you're in heaven, so remembering. We'll be remembering our beloved dead in November, so I'll probably be back at the cemetery for a chat a little bit later. Okay. I meet with the second grade parents tonight. We'll be talking about forgiveness. Maybe I can talk a little bit about that next week and kind of stop this this talk right now. So I'll close with a prayer, huh? Loving God, you give us life. We thank you for that on a beautiful day. We look at the colored leaves. As beautiful as they are, the colored leaves also indicate to us death in a way. It's a transition between the green, plush days of summer and the barren days of winter. With all the cycles of times, all the dying and rising, all the raising and lowering, all the cycles that we go through, your love is always constant for us. We thank you for giving us people who love us. We thank you for giving us people that we can love. We know that we never do it perfectly, and we pray for those who are having trouble in their relationships. And for friends like Bob, who help show us that we're good and that we can serve you, that light can shine out of us, we give you many thanks. Right? Help us to be those good friends to others. Because that's really why we're here. You know? There's a lot of things we can buy. There's a lot of places we can go to divert our attention to, I don't know, things that make us feel good. But help us never to forget the state of our souls, the state of our hearts, and the state of the hearts of those in our families and our friends and our neighbors. Bless us, O God, on this beautiful day. May we remember your goodness always and reflect it in the world. And God bless you, and we'll see you another time.